Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Combs Design. Last week I built this desktop tool organizer and I filled it with my favorite and most used tools. This week I thought it would be useful for me to go through tool by tool, tell you about the tool, tell you about the price, and if you're in the market searching for a gift or something to get a DIYer or woodworker in your life, there is probably something in here that would be very useful to them. First, we'll start off with this Veritas flush trim saw. It's great for flush cutting dowels or anything else that you need to be flush along a surface. This saw runs for about $30. You can get them from Lee Valley. They'll last you a while, so it is well worth the price in my opinion. The next tool on the list is this set of digital calipers by Empire. You can get these at Home Depot, relatively cheap in the world of measuring tools. And if you're working in your shop a lot, these are very precise for the type of stuff that I do and most people at home do. What's great about this particular set of calipers is you can switch between inches and millimeters. You can zero out the calipers wherever you need to. And it's relatively cheap for a set of digital calipers. This is a $30 set. This next tool is probably my top 3 favorite tools of anything that I own. This is the Incra T-Ruler. This changes your life. You don't know that you need this until you have it, and then you have it and you wonder how you ever got by without it. You'll see it has all these little markings in here. And what this allows you to do is drop a pencil into any of these markings, and you run this along the edge of your board and you can make a mark. This 6-inch version costs about $30, and if I broke this or something happened to it, I would not hesitate to buy another one or 2. They're that good. The next tool on my list is actually a pretty underrated tool. I didn't start using this until recently, but having a little 6-inch ruler available in the shop to do quick, small measurements is great. There's indentations in this ruler, and that allows us to do a couple things. Number one, we can drop a marking knife into our line to figure out where we need to be. Or if we're using a set of dividers or a compass, we can drop one side into one line and drop the other side into another to get really precise measurements. This one is also made by Empire. You can find them at Home Depot. This is really one of those super cheap tools that I don't know how I could live without it now. It's about $5. This next tool is really very clever. I don't know if you're familiar with Woodpecker's one-time tool series. They make a tool for 1 or 2 months and then discontinue it forever. It's very frustrating to me as a consumer because I'd like to buy tools on my time frame. However, from a manufacturer's standpoint, I understand why they do it. There are some tools that are so popular they bring them back for good, and this is an example of one of them. This is the Pallini Pocket Rule, and this combines several features of other tools that we've seen before and a few more. The first thing that's great is it has this adjustable sliding stop, and this lets you make repeatable and accurate layout lines like we can do with the Incra T-Square. It also has a ton of divisions all the way down to a 32nd, and it has this vertical scale, which is great for setting up router bit heights or your saw blade height. The next feature that's really cool is it has this little indentation that allows you to drop your pencil in when you're using this stop along the edge of the board. You can also take the stop off and use it upright to hold the ruler in place so you can have a two-handed operation when you're using the side scale to set your router bit or saw height. I don't see many people using these, and I don't know why, because it's one of my favorite tools. I use it very often. You can get these for about $50, which I know is expensive, but it's worth it in my opinion. The next 2 tools I'm not even going to bother taking out are these fine and ultrafine Sharpies. You can get 12 of the fine Sharpies for $10 and 2 of the ultrafine Sharpies for $4. We'll take a look at this mechanical pencil next, and this is a 5mm Pentel P205 pencil. They're about $5 a piece, which I know is expensive for a mechanical pencil. But I like them because they use the 5mm lead, which is compatible with the T-Rule from Incra. And also they have a metal tip down here, which really allows you to drop this into the holes on the Incra T-Rule and get a really stable hold when you're making these layout lines. There are times where I don't want to use a mechanical pencil. I don't want to deal with the really fine lead. I just want to write something down. And I use these Ticonderoga No. 2 black pencils. These are my favorite, just regular wooden pencil. They have a good eraser on them. They write really well. It's a simple pencil. You can get 24 of them for about $8, so good deal. I keep a bunch of these around. This next marking device is newer to me, and I thought it was ridiculous for a long time, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was a gimmick. And then I got it, and it's not. It's this Pika Dry automatic pencil. It's like a mechanical pencil, except the lead that comes out is super thick, and you just continue to click it forward just like a mechanical pencil. But you do have to sharpen it with the sharpener that is here on the tip of the holder. What is special about this pencil, though, is this lead comes in white, which is great when you're marking on dark woods like walnut. I used to use charcoal pencils, but those kind of became a hassle, and I didn't have too many of them, and I'd always lose them. This is very easy to find, great to use, and this graphite tip that's on here writes on just about any surface. They engineered it that way, so I've been using this more and more. I like it, and it's about, I think, $15 for this guy, and then you have to get the refills. This next tool is a center punch. It is a General Tools number 89 center punch. I've had this for years and years. There's nothing special about it. It just works, and that's what you want in a tool. I use this to punch metal. I use this to punch wood. I don't use an awl in my shop, so I use this center punch for everything. I really like it, and I have no complaints with it. So I've had this for years. It's still working. It's about $15. I recommend it. The next tool is my favorite miniature screwdriver that there is. This is the Klein 32581. Has 4 tips, so you have a Phillips and a flathead on this end. And then if you pull this shaft out of the body, you have a smaller set of Phillips and flathead on this side. This is another tool that I've had for years and years and years. It's about $10 and it just works. The next tool on my list is going to be something most of you won't buy. This is a snap-on screwdriver. The model number is the SSD MR4B. You will walk into a snap-on truck. You will ask them for this screwdriver. You will go to check out, and your heart will stop when they give you the price for this ratcheting screwdriver. It's about $70, but here's the deal. For my real job, I have a small toolkit that goes everywhere with me. And I mean everywhere. It has been with me to the middle of the desert in the Middle East. It has been with me overseas in Asia. It's been with me in Europe. It's been with me in South America. It has been with me all over the world. And just last month, I pulled this out of my mobile toolkit because I like it so much. I want to have it at home. This thing has always worked. It has taken a beating. I can't say enough good things about it. The mechanism is strong. The handle feels good. You could win a fight with this thing. It's very heavy. I love this screwdriver. I know $70 is a lot for a ratcheting screwdriver. If it is any consolation, this back here does screw off and there are bits inside. But great screwdriver, good job Snap-on. A bunch of my buddies have this same one, and we've all had our exact same model for years and years and years. Love it. This next tool falls into the same category as the Snap-on. These are the Klein D209-5C diagonal flush cutters. Same thing. These were in my mobile kit that has been around the world with me. I love these so much. I pulled them out to use them in my shop. These are flush cutters I use for electronics, and here's why I like them. First off, the spring mechanism is really good. It's made out of a really high quality and thick material. And if you've ever bought flush cutters before, eventually the mechanism that lets them pop back open wears out or it falls off. These have just always worked. I have used these for so many electrical projects. I mean, I've done hundreds of connections and stripped hundreds of wires with these and cut hundreds of zip ties, if not thousands. And these always hold up. I love them. Can't say enough good things. They're about $40, which is a lot for a small pair of flush cutters like this. But once again, I fall into the camp of buy once, cry once. This is the Crescent 4-inch little needle nose, miniature needle nose plier, and it comes in a set with flush cutters that are the same size. In the past 10 or so years, maybe a little bit longer, I've gone through the set of these. I've probably bought 7 or 8 sets of these. It's about $15 for the set of 2. To put that in perspective, I've had these for almost the same amount of time. This is the only one I've ever purchased. But if you want to spend a little bit less money now, you get the set. You get a honestly decent pair of flush cutters. You get these. The problem is, over time, if you overuse these, the tip on these will break. I've had that happen a couple times. And this spring mechanism they use isn't as good as it used to be. The first pair I had was great, but I broke the tip because I tried cutting and using them for something that they probably shouldn't have been used for. If they hadn't changed this mechanism, these would probably still be my go-to because of their price point. But overall, it's a good tool. If you don't want to spend the $40 for the flush cutters, then another $15 to get these. Just spend $15, get these, and the Crescent flush cutters in a set, and they'll last you, honestly, a long time. Scissors seem very trivial, but they're not. A good pair of scissors is a magical thing when you're cutting something, and I understand that sounds ridiculous. These are the Westcott titanium scissors. They come in several sizes. I believe these are, the 6 or the 8-inch. But I like them because they stay sharp for a while, and unlike cheaper pairs that either use rivets or a connection here that you can't access, you use a Phillips head screw to keep these together. So over time, when these start to kind of loosen up and they don't close like you want them to anymore, you just tighten the screw and they keep going, and you don't need a new pair of scissors. You can get a set of 2 of these for $8 on Amazon. So really good deal. You don't have to spend a ton on scissors to get a good pair. I like these. The next tool on my list is this Swan Morton marking knife. This is the SM00 or maybe SM00. Not sure which one. I like these because they come with replaceable blades so you don't have to sharpen anything, and they're simple and there are no frills. It's $20 to get the body and 5 of the blades. There are 2 issues that I have with this, to be completely upfront. The blade here is a double bevel blade, so you can't completely bring this up against the side of what you're cutting with. You have to use it at a bit of an angle. With a little bit of practice and feel, you get used to it and it's not a huge deal. The other thing is this blade is so dang long. When I first started using this marking knife, I held it here like a pencil. Well, that ended up being a problem because my finger would slip, and I cut my knuckle here so many times on this guy. But now that I know where to hold it, I'm good, no problems. This is $20. I recommend it. Simple, no frills. The next thing on my list is this Empire 18-inch ruler. Same thing, you can get it at about Home Depot for $15 or so. It does not have the indentations like the 6-inch rule, but it is a good stainless steel layout ruler. I use it all the time. It's accurate enough, and it's same thing, simple, no frills type tool. The next thing on my list are these safety glasses. These are the Majid, maybe is how you say it. I don't know. I've been using these for about 1.5 years now. It's time for a new pair. It says they're scratch and fog resistant. That does not mean they're scratch and fog proof. I have beaten this pair up. I like them because overall they do have a pretty nice aesthetic to them, and they have this little side protector. on them, which is great for any flying debris. I think Michael Alm recently talked about using these. I think we both discovered them independently and we both like them. I have this pair of simple earplugs. I don't like them. They're uncomfortable. I don't know what else to get though. I've thought about maybe the IsoTunes so I could listen to music, but there is something to be said about just simple earplugs so you're less distracted when using tools that require earplugs. Tools that require earplugs are most of the time more dangerous than ones that don't. And I want to stay laser focused and not be distracted by music or a TV show I'm watching with a Bluetooth connectivity or anything. So I use these. I wish they were more comfortable because after hours and hours they do start to hurt, but it's what I got. I'm not even going to link these. They're cheap. Everybody makes them. The erasers on these pencils wear out quick. So I use the Papermate Pink Pearl eraser like any school child would. You can get 12 of them for $5 and they're great for erasing layout lines, so you have to do less sanding and you're not trying to get your layout lines off your work. The next tool is this set of feeler gauges. These are unbranded. I got them on Amazon. There are 26 gauges in here and I didn't know I needed these until I started using them. I actually need to get a new set because when trying to find my offset for a V carving bit on the CNC the other day, I punched right through this guy, my .01 feeler gauge. It shows you the inch and metric equivalents on every one. It's about $7 for this set. They're super cheap, super useful. If you don't have a pair of feeler gauges or a set of feeler gauges, I recommend it. Coming up near the end, I wanted a utility knife that was no frills, simple and small. And there were some like really cool, expensive designs, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money. On Amazon, there are these cheap $5 Work Pro utility knives. You can get 3 for $15. They are cheap, but I love them. They shouldn't be as, like, I'm looking at the design, it shouldn't be as sturdy as it is. But if you're cutting open boxes and you don't use your utility knife for a ton of stuff, just general cutting type applications, I don't think this can be beat. Next, I have the Start 13C 6-inch double square. This thing is weighty, it's heavy, it has all the recesses in the markings, and they're very deep, which is extra helpful. This thing is great. I have dropped it. It has stayed accurate. I would not recommend dropping it because this thing is about $80, but it's a good square. To go with that, I also want a Woodpecker's mini square, but they've been sold out for the longest time and they're impossible to get for some reason. I don't know if it's the pandemic or what, but eventually that'll go on here. The last tool on my list is this magnetic tray. I don't know who made it. I don't know where I got it, but it holds all of your metal bits inside. These are about $5 on Amazon, super cheap. I highly recommend you pick one up. Thank you guys so much for sticking around on this episode of Combs Design. I know we talked about a lot of tools, but I hope it was insightful and gives you some ideas for yourself or a DIYer in your life. There are links below to all of these tools, and if they are affiliate links, they are marked. I don't make any money from any of these companies or have any sponsorships. I just like sharing what I have with you guys so you can learn and grow, and I really hope this is useful. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.